Okay, Donald Trump is doing his standard traditional thing. He's mocking all of his opponents in a Christmas message. The U.S. president-elect has singled out China, Canada, Panama, Greenland, and the Democrats. Is anyone surprised by this? Type 1 for I am shocked Trump would do this. I am shocked. Shocked. Type 1 if that's your answer. Type 2. No, I'm not. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. So what's going on? What's going on? All right, because people are saying, "Oh no, Trump's going to do a land grab." Listen to the people in Canada. You're fine. All right, you're not going to become the 51st state. Okay, don't worry. In an alternate version of the universe of this world, the Roman Empire never fell apart, and we are all true Romans. But since we don't live in that timeline, and since we cannot be true Romans, we can at least laugh at the absurdity of Trump mocking his opponents. Okay, I know. Mastermind Hour. Does a Trump take a morning dump in the woods? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. There you go. And High Plains Drifter says, surrender, Canada. Listen, I don't want to live in the Fallout timeline, okay, for many reasons, because I don't want to be vaporized by atomic fire. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has posted a Christmas message taking pot shots at China, Panama, Canada, Greenland, that's not green at all, and his domestic political opponents. Stuttered there. Sorry about that. The Republican, who is slated to return to the White House in January, put up 2 posts on his Truth Social platform on Wednesday wishing Merry Christmas to all. Now, there you go. See, there you go. Merry Christmas. And the first on his list were the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal. The U.S. controlled the waterway between the Atlantic and Pacific for almost a century before handing it back to Panama in 1999. The local government has since contracted Chinese companies to operate it. Trump also sent seasoned greetings to Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens' taxes are far too high, but would be lowered 60% if Canada would become our 51st state. You know what, Canada? It's not going to happen. You're not going to become our 51st state. Don't worry. It's not going to happen. You know? Is this funny? I think it's stupid, but okay. Whatever. Likewise to the people of Greenland, which is not green at all, which is needed by the United States for national security purposes, and who want the U.S. to be there, and we will, Trump added. He has recently revived the idea of U.S. control over Greenland after his offer to buy the self-governed Danish island was rejected in 2019. You know, listen, if any of you watch the Fall of Civilization podcast on YouTube, there's actually a wonderful documentary about the Vikings who used to be, who had a settlement in Greenland. Newsflash, it didn't end up too well for the Vikings. But it's a fantastic episode, and I encourage all of you to get your learn on, okay? Especially for the new year. And, of course, Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics, Trump continued, accusing the Democrats of trying to obstruct the U.S. courts and elections while going after him and other Americans. They know that their only chance of survival is getting pardons from a man who absolutely has no idea what he is doing, Trump added, referring to outgoing President Joe Biden. He also brought up the fact that Biden commuted the death sentence of 37 federal inmates to life in prison, saying that they should go to hell. Keep it family friendly there, Trump. Come on. We had the greatest election in history of our country. A bright light is now shining over the USA, and in 26 days, we will make America great again. The president-elect continued, Merry Christmas. Trump, who will be inaugurated on January 20th, has already teased a series of day one actions from executive orders on immigration and energy to brokering a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. And getting serious here, I do hope that he's able to successfully get some form of a ceasefire, some form of peace. Is it going to be effective? I hope so. I'm really not a fan of how the Biden-Harris administration has been giving billions of dollars to this ridiculous war that should never happen in 2022. I'm not a big fan of the fact that countless lives were lost, families destroyed, and of course, the whole world on edge as this proxy war between the US and Russia was continuous and ongoing. And if somebody made one dumb mistake, and it could still happen, wondering what that shiny red button does, then boom, vaporized by nuclear fire, and the human species is extinct. And frankly, folks, the survivors will envy the dead. What's the significance of the story? What can we learn from this? Well, let's get ready for more tweets and more posts of on social media of Trump, of course, instigating, poking, and making fun of his opponents. I mean, that's what he does. This is nothing new. It's to be expected. But you want to know what's not going to happen? The views in corporate media. Corporate media is losing it all. And everyone now has to wonder, well, how did this happen? How is it that Trump was able to gain all this momentum? Well, it's because he kept his organization together. And now, of course, looking at the bigger picture, all these people and organizations and groups that thought that they were going to outsmart Trump. Well, now here he is as president. Will he buy Greenland? That's probably going to be rejected. Okay. Canada becoming the 51st state? No, that's only for memes. Is anything going to happen in the Panama Canal? Well, that's up in the air. That's a big, fascinating question mark on whether or not China and the USA are going to have a little proxy money war over the Panama Canal. I mean, the answer is it's a very lucrative area. And he who controls the spice controls the universe. I mean, sorry, he controls the canal, controls both oceans, right? Right. And then poking at the Democrats, which at this point, there's no defense for the Democrats. They deserve to be ridiculed. They deserve to be made fun of. They lost to this man. They uplifted him way back in 2016. He used to be a Democrat, and now they're all eating crow. And I'm not going to shed a single goddamn tear for the Democrats because they did this to themselves. 2025, year of the snake. January 20th is when Trump gets inaugurated. Harlan's media is going to be talking about it. Let's just hope all the craziness is gone. But you know the old saying, hope in one hand and crap in the other. See which one fills up faster, yes?
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe?
Fresh off the masses, the brand new cancerous growth, who has come here to vie for your vote. Come here to cry at the camps and to mourn at the shore for the bodies that float by the wreck of an immigrant boat. Then it's back to their luxury home, couple security booths and a moat. Couple cigars, little escargot, little booze and a soak. Just breathe in the steam and the smoke. Pink salt, lavender, candles are low. Shit, when you do what you do, gotta lighten the load. And he got a life of his own that's a sight to behold. And it's a lot to control, to decipher the code or to siphon the soul. The cost of a good night's sleep for the working elite is a bargain, no matter the toll. worth any wager, and that comes straight from the mouth of the means to the goal that will swallow us whole. Ripe for the picking if you don't mind mold, and you know I don't. Maybe we're pleasantly prone, maybe we're taking a licking, compliantly ticking and ticking and ticking, but never explode. No, I don't deliver the prettiest image, but damn if it isn't an accurate vision of natural fission, of rage at the system and abject heartbreak, patiently waiting for any who will listen. That little blue bird who was watching your words is a federal carrier pigeon, a Langley first. It's a patient observer who hears what it wants and is trained for the worst. Oh, you got nothing to hide. They'll be the ones to decide that after they root through your purse, after they read all your text, after they raid your apartment, confiscate all of its contents, then conjure up evidence out of the air on a wing and a prayer and malicious intelligence nonsense. Any presumption of innocence long since gone, right along with your comforts and constants. Historically, first they will come for the communists. So why in the fuck would I say I'm a communist? Well, it might be I love my community more than the monsters of opulence who are holding us hostage, who are vomiting promises. Might be I'm all done seeing our pensions and benefits harvested. Might be I'm all done watching the populace being disarmed in the guise of an armistice. Watching a woman collapse on the floor who will rise no more. She's wheeled out the door and you're next in line for the pharmacist. If you can get me to vote, it's a hard no confidence. But part of the charm of deception is politics wearing the mask of incompetence. It's all in the art of austerity, darling. It's all in the slide of the providence. Until home is as wide as your cubicle height and it's only as deep as your coffin is. Maybe I'm miles away from impatience, aching to break off the head of the snake where the capital lust, reptile brain, and the margin of profit is. Like off with his. Like off with his.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe?